Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is my May reading wrap up. I have read 5 books this month, so a bit less than what I would usually read, but I started this month still in a massive reading slump. I don't know why, but these past couple of months I've just not been as consistent with reading. But obviously reading should be for fun, so I don't like to put too much pressure on myself. So yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is basically talking you through the 5 books that I've read and telling you what I liked and what I disliked about them. So yeah, let's get into the video. So I'm going to start with the books that I read that I have physical copies of, and then at the end of the video I'll talk about the books I read on my Kindle, just because it makes it so much easier that way. So yeah, that's the way I'm going to be doing it. So the first book that I'm going to talk about today is Falling for Gage by Mia Sheridan. I did rate this one a 5 stars. This was my only 5-star of the month, so this is my favourite book that I read in May. And this is the last book in the Pelly and Lake series. I read Archer's Voice and Travis a couple of months ago and really enjoyed them. And I've been meaning to pick this one up since, but I was waiting till I was in the right mood for it, if that makes sense. So I did read this one in May. There is a reading vlog on my channel already of me reading this book. It is the Blind Date with a Book reading vlog. It's just my views in a bit more depth than what I'm going to talk about now, basically, if you want to have a look at that. But yeah, Falling for Gage. I really enjoyed this book. I've really enjoyed this series as a whole. Mia Sheridan is an amazing writer. I personally really love her writing style, and I'm really excited to read more of her stuff. I feel like she's quickly becoming one of my favourite authors. So I love this. So this book follows Gage Buchanan, who is the rich friend of Travis, who is the main character in the second book. And he is running his dad's company. He's a rich businessman. His dad owns this company, like I say, and he's helping him run it. And he goes on this trip with his friends, has a one night stand with this girl, and basically can't stop thinking about her. Rory, the girl he has the one night stand with, is helping her uncles run this bar. She's been looked after all her life by her uncles because her mum passed away when she was young. She doesn't know who her dad is, and she goes on this mission to find who her dad is. This results in Rory ending up in the town that Gage lives in, and there's a lot of tension between them. Gage ends up helping her, and basically we see their romance blossom along the way. And I really, really enjoyed it, like I say. It's such a good book. And if you haven't read any Mia Sheridan yet, I highly recommend her. She's so, so good as an author. She writes such amazing books, honestly. So definitely check her out. So yeah, that's Falling for Gage. And then the next book that I have the physical copy of is Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. And everybody has hyped this series up on the internet. Everybody has been raging about it for the longest time. And I hadn't had a chance to read it yet. It's been on my shelf for probably over a year now. It's just one of them things that I haven't been in the mood to read. So I have been putting it off a bit. And I've read this. I rated this a 3 stars out of 5. And I did quite enjoy it. I really like the main character, Juliet. And she's basically been locked up in this cell. She's got these powers, sort of. So when people touch her, she has this effect on them and it hurts them, and it can cause some serious damage to people. And she's sort of grown up thinking that it's a bad thing and that she's this horrible monster and she doesn't want to go near people. But then at the end, we find out there is other people like her, people with different powers, and she's just starting to get to know them and learn more about them. That's where this first book ends. And I'm really curious to see where the story goes from here, to be honest. I did quite enjoy it, and I really hope the rest of the series carries on the way this one has, because I think it's got the potential to be a really good series. So yeah, Shatter Me. And then we're going to go on to the books that I read on my Kindle. So the first book I read this month on my Kindle is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This one was a book club pick of the month, and it's a dystopian story basically about these women that have been trapped in an underground bunker for years. They can't really remember anything before, and the main character was only a child when she got locked up, so she really can't remember anything beforehand. And it's all about her story. They do manage to escape partway through the story, and it's how she copes with that and how she learns to live with the other women and things like that. It was quite sad in places, but yeah, I did quite enjoy it. I rated this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It was really well written. I was hoping it was going to end a little bit happier than it did, to be honest, but other than that, I did really enjoy it. So, yeah. So, the second book I read on my Kindle this month was A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. This is the last book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which is in the same world as Caraval by the same author, and I've quite enjoyed this series, to be honest. I did prefer Caraval as a series, but I do really like this one as well. And this followed Evangeline, and at the end of the last book, she'd lost all her memories. Apollo, her husband, had taken all the memories away from her to stop her admitting to Jax that she loved him. And this was basically about her getting her memories back and building her relationship back up with Jax and learning about what Apollo had done. And yeah, that was basically the general idea of it. But it was really good. I think this one might have been my favourite one in the series. I do really enjoy Stephanie Garber's writing anyway. I tend to really get immersed in the world that she creates. So I'm really hoping that this isn't the end for her and that she comes out with more stuff. Like I say, I did really enjoy Caraval as well. So if you are looking for something that's romantasy, that's YA, and a bit more light in the world building and the heavy fantasy elements and stuff, this series might be for you because it is really good and I do highly recommend it. And then, last but not least, the last book that I read on my Kindle this month, and another book club pick, was The Tenant by Freida McFadden. I personally love a Freida McFadden book. I think she writes quite well. They're short chapters, they're snappy, they keep you guessing, you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, they're really hard to put down. And this book very much lived up to them expectations. It was your typical Freida book. It was keeping me on the edge of my seat. It had short chapters. It was well written. It kept me guessing. I did not see the twist coming at the end. And I really enjoyed it. It was basically about this couple that had been living together. The man had lost his job. They were struggling to pay the bills, so they take a person on to live with them as a tenant. And then when this tenant moves in, these things start happening. And the man that's lost his job ends up severely falling out with the tenant. There's a lot of conflict there. There's a lot of things happening, and you start to wonder what to believe and who is responsible for these things. I'm not going to go too much more into it because I will give the story away, and it's well worth the read if you like a thriller. But definitely pick this one up. It was really good. I rated this one a 3 out of 5 stars, which is a pretty standard rating for me for a Freida McFadden book, to be honest. I normally find they all tend to sit around that sort of area. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, they are the 5 books that I read in May. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, please like, comment and subscribe underneath, and I will see you all again next week.